Alright guys, and once again, welcome to my free training today, entitled 5 Easy Steps to $1 Million Licensing. Now, this is something that I do alongside my joint ventures that I get involved in, where I do lots of large deals. And licensing is part of some of the deals that I do, and it's been part of what I've been doing for the last couple of years, and it's something I really, really want to share. I don't normally share it outside my own private group, but I want to share some really phenomenal things that are going on right now in the world of licensing. And there's going to be an opportunity for you guys to ask questions at the end. So if you've got any questions, you're welcome to put them throughout the training program that I have right now, or you can obviously put the questions at the end for a Q&A. So let's get started. First of all, a bit about myself. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Sahel Khan. I'm known as one of the world's top joint venture experts. I've been doing joint ventures now over the last 20 years, trading brokers all over the world, been involved in some very, very high level joint venture deals and licensing deals also. And I'm going to take you through some of those deals today and how you can also get involved in using the power of licensing. I've achieved over $20 million with using joint ventures and licensing. And if you've ever seen me speak on stage or any of my other webinars, I take you through step by step on individual case studies in terms of how I've achieved that amount. I'm an international speaker and consultant. Consulting is what I do a lot of nowadays. I consult for a lot of sort of corporate companies, Fortune 500 companies, and on strategic partnering and strategic growth. I'm also the author of Guerrilla Marketing and Joint Ventures with the late J. Conrad Levison, who passed away in 2014. And it was the last guerrilla marketing book written by Jay, featuring myself, which I was quite blessed to have that. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Joint Venture Group. Good, excuse me, I have a sore throat after traveling a lot recently. In terms of what I do, I always do travel a lot, so please bear with me. Okay, so that's enough about me. What are we going to be covering today in this special training? I'm going to be talking about what's known as the traditional expert model, how traditional experts like myself normally make money selling our expertise. I'm going to also then talk about the ideal expert licensing model, which is what I do a lot of, and a lot of I would call my peers, how we leverage our expertise, okay, through licensing. I'm going to discuss the benefits of licensing, why licensing is something that not is only for big corporations, it's for individuals also. I'm going to give you some examples of expert licensing, how some of my expert friends have utilized licensing to literally make millions of dollars, including myself. I'm going to give you the licensing income model and break it down for you and show you the big difference. I'm also going to give you some $1 million licensing case studies for you to look at and think about in terms of how you can apply that also to your expertise. Then we're going to go through the main, what I call the 5 easy steps to $1 million licensing. Basically what you need to do step by step to get to a level where you can leverage your expertise and literally make millions on the back of licensing royalties and licensing fees. And then also we'll have a Q&A at the end. But like I said, you're welcome to filter your questions throughout the training, but I will be answering the questions at the end. So I'm sure you'll have questions for me. And don't forget also to stay till the end for the bonus. I'm giving away a free $1 million licensing blueprint that shows you step by step what you need to do to achieve getting your expertise productized and licensed. And I'm using a system where I can actually track everyone who stays till the end. So if you do stay right to the end of the free training, I'll definitely get one of my team to send out the bonus via email to you. Thank you. Okay, first of all, give me a yes or a no in the chat box. And have you ever wanted to stop trading time for money? Give me a yes or a no in the chat box so I can see how many of you are really interested in stopping sort of trading time for money. Because that's one of the main things, we don't have enough time in the day. We don't have enough time to really, or hours in the day to be able to do what we do. And it's all about leverage. Something that I teach a lot about is leverage. And I can see from a lot of you saying, Mark saying absolutely, a lot of you saying yes, this is something that we'd love to learn more about, how we can, stop trading time for money. So I'm gonna teach you the main model that I use. I also use online training, okay, and online group coaching and online group courses, which is what you're looking at right now. That's another way to trade time for money. However, if you really want to make the big bucks, okay, and I'm talking the big bucks, licensing is the way to go because it's something that is very valuable. And if you're like an individual solopreneur, for example, it'll add lots of value to your business, and I'll explain how that will work as well as we go along. Okay, let's look at the traditional expert model first of all. Okay, so this is the traditional expert fee formula. So let's say, for example, as an expert, you charge $2,000 a day, okay, for your expertise, whether it's coaching or consulting. You can only achieve about 200 chargeable days a year, okay, really, realistically, as an expert doing that, working full time. And, if you achieve that at that rate that you're charging, that's a gross income of about $400,000 a year, which is not too bad, okay, which is not bad at all. But, the 200 hours you've got to put in, plus you've got to be at an expert level where you can charge $2,000 a day, okay, right? So if you've achieved that and you're at a level where you aren't a recognized expert and you have the ability to charge per day for what you do, then licensing would work really, really well for you. So that's the traditional expert fee formula, right? Let's look at the licensing income model. And this is really going to blow your mind. Let's say, for example, someone pays you $5,000 to learn how to get certified and use your systems and your methodology. That person would be called the license holder or the licensee. You as the expert would be called the licensor, okay? So you would be the one certifying that individual and training them to basically replicate what you do out there in the marketplace. Now the licensee, it actually charges $2,000 per day, okay? The same as you charge. But now they pay you 20% because you are the licensor. So they are a licensee of your system, your methodology, your training, and they're going out charging the same amount that you would do because it's the same systems, same training, same methodology, but in return they're giving you 20% for the benefit to do that, okay, because they're using your intellectual property, okay? And they do the same 200 days of chargeable work. So the gross income to that licensee is the same. However, this time, you as the licensor get $40,000 for doing nothing, okay? So just one licensee that goes out and replicates what you do, and you give them a license and license your training to them. They give you 20% for that royalty, for the royalty to use that license, to use your training, to use your methodology. You earn $40,000 from that one licensee. Okay, now imagine if you had 10 licensees, you would be earning $400,000 a year, but this time you'd be doing none of the work and just collecting the royalty fee. Okay, so that's how powerful licensing is. If you have something that works and is proven and you can train other people how to do it, then it's pretty phenomenal what you can do with it. I mean, it's really just a leverage model. And if you wanted to, you could still pretty much go ahead and do that. You can still go out and work if you wanted to, but that pretty much is the gist. Shell's asked if the slides will be available. I'm recording this free training, Shell, and everyone who's registered will definitely get a copy of it. Okay, so that's the licensing income model, okay, which is pretty powerful, and it's all about leverage, right? This is what you've got to look at. It's all about leveraging what you have, okay? Now, why licensing? Okay, so here's the benefits of using licensing. First of all, you escape the time for money trap, okay? Now, I myself, to be totally honest with you, I earn 7 figures easily every year, but I don't work as much. I mean, I only probably work about 4 times a year. I have consulting clients who I do consulting work for at the high end at 50K per client, but I also have a program where I license other people to go out and do what I do. But I'll show you exactly what I'm doing and how I'm leveraging my expertise to replicate myself out there in the marketplace. Okay, so I'll show you how I do that. You can also control your content and your IP, and now your content will be worth something. There'll be an intrinsic value on your content and IP, which means other people will approach you to either buy that IP or rent that IP or pay a royalty for that IP. Okay, which is what we're creating here. It also allows you to monetize your passion, expertise, and experience, and really leverage that. It's pretty phenomenal. And licensing also helps other people benefit from your expertise. And it's definitely the easiest way to make millions. So licensing is very, very powerful. If you have something unique in the marketplace and you have a good system and methodology behind it, it's something that can easily be licensed. And also, it's very low startup costs. The cost to put together a licensing program and go out and find people that you can train and certify and that would pay you for that license fee is the startup costs are pretty low for that. Now we've got things like Facebook advertising. It's so cheap to go out and get people. If you've got a social media list, if you've got a social media network, it's very easy. Most times, most of the marketing that I do is zero cost because it's all social media based. Okay, and that's how I get my clients from LinkedIn, for example, and that's how I get my my license my licensees also. And it also increases the value of your business by 5 times. Okay, the actual value, because what happens is now you have created a value in your business where you have IP, okay, and you have something that has value, and you can easily sell your business, and your business will be worth 5 times as much now because instead of previously being only a one-man band or yourself. Okay, so this is why it's important that you definitely implement some sort of licensing within your business. Let's look at some experts who have made millions using licensing, and these are some of my friends. For example, you have Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy does a program 25,000, 50,000, and 100,000, and licenses his name, his brand, okay, his IP for other people to become sales trainers. John Maxwell's the same. He has some high-end programs, 25, 50, 100K, licenses to licensees only. They go through a certification program. They pay a yearly license fee to use his brand. Same with Jack Canfield. Jack does the same thing. If you want to become a certified Jack Canfield trainer in his methodology and his systems, it's the same. You pay a yearly license fee and you have to pay ongoing royalty fees. These guys have made millions. They're not the only ones. There are a couple of people who are also not well known in the marketplace, but they're actually doing really, really well with licensing. So here's the thing. Do you think your expertise can be licensed successfully? Give me a yes or a no in the chat box if you think your expertise can be licensed successfully. I've got a couple of people who have said yes. I've got a couple of people who have said definitely. One or two are not sure, and some people seem to think that it's maybe a yes or a no. Okay, excellent, brilliant. So here's an example. Okay, this is a program that I've been running for the last 3 or 4 years. It's a training program that I do for certified joint venture brokers, and I've since branched out into different areas. I have a program for joint venture consultants. I have a program for joint venture brokers. So I have a couple of different programs, but this is my main signature program where I license my training to individuals to become certified joint venture brokers. And it's interesting actually because we tallied it up in terms of the amount of brokers that I've trained over the years and the fees that the licensing fees involved, and it's been well over $1 million from licensing my own joint venture training and IP. So I started doing joint ventures myself over the last 15, 20 years. And over the last couple of years, I've been training brokers around the world, specifically for a main reason. And I'm going to share that with you exactly why I do that. So I created a 3-day certified JV broker program. I also had a best-selling book with J. Conrad Levinson, a #1 international best-selling book. And what I do with that is I white label license that to my joint venture brokers and joint venture consultants, and I give them an actual license to actually use the content of that book to go out and get clients the way I do. So they can have the book co-authored with my name or their name, and I give them a license for that. Okay, I give them a license to my training. I give them a license to all my marketing materials or my materials that I use to get high-end clients. Plus, they get a copy of a white label copy of my joint venture book that they can put their own name on there or my name on there as well. Okay, so that's licensing. I charge $10,000 per licensee for that program. I've been doing that over the last 3 to 4 years. I always sell between 8 and 10 spots at 10K each, which is about $100,000. I do the program 3 times a year. So just on the program alone, I make $300,000 every year recurring as a licensing fee. But here's the thing. The only reason I do that is I look out and find JV brokers that I can back-end JV deals with, and I split that 50-50. So the royalty fees involved with training brokers comes down to my deals, and my fee for that is 50%. So I get 50% of whatever deals my brokers close with the deals that I provide them, and they do the work. Basically, they do all the work and for a 50-50 split. So I get 50% royalty on that. And I've trained over 120 certified JV brokers so far. So it's interesting how the licensing component works on that in terms of training other people with your own IP and your own methodologies and systems. I also did a licensing deal where I licensed one of my video training DVD to a company. This is one of my most famous case studies that most of you might have heard about, and I pocketed $1.5 million from that licensing deal. So here's what I did with that. I found a list of 400,000 computer training book buyers, okay, on the internet. And I went out and I found these buyers from a company. I approached the company and I asked them if they were interested in upselling their existing customers of the book to a video-based course. So I created a computer training DVD using Elance, which cost me $500. And I basically licensed the video training DVD back to the company that had produced this book that had 400,000 customers. Now, I gave them a license to duplicate and sell the DVD, and they upsold it to their existing customers who bought a book at $24.95. And I agreed a $7.50 royalty on each DVD that they upsold, okay? And they sold a total of 201,460 units to their 400,000 list. And I pocketed just over $1.5 million with that licensing deal as my licensing royalty fee. So there's an example of how you can also use licensing for possibly an existing product you already have or existing content you already have, okay, and sell that to a company. Just a license to a company. They don't own the actual product. They'll own the licensing rights to that product, but you still own the actual product, and then you pick up a royalty fee from that. So that's another sort of licensing deal that you can do that I've done myself. I've also licensed some of my training materials to other training companies. So I did a deal with a company that was selling marketing consultant franchises, and I made $720K over a 12-month contract from licensing, actually giving them my joint venture training manuals to provide as part of their training program. And this is something that you can also do very, very easily. So I found a company that sold It was a $40,000 marketing consultant franchise that they were selling through business for sale websites. And what I did was I approached them. I said, hey, the one component you don't have in your marketing that you're training consultants is joint ventures. So they had a little section in one of their manuals, but they didn't have the actual in-depth training. So I said, look, I'm obviously the joint venture expert. I know joint ventures A to Z. A to Z. I have the manuals already. I will license the manuals to you. You can white label them. You can put your name on them. You can put your company name, your course program name, and I'll give you those manuals that I already use for my high level programs to train companies and joint venture brokers, and you can add it to your curriculum. So we agreed a 10% royalty. So I said, look, for every program that you sell, I want 10% from that. If I'm going to give you all my JV training manuals, IP, all my videos, all my training, and if you want me, available for support. So I agreed a 10% royalty on each program sold, which included my JV training manual and IP, and obviously myself available as support. Now they are a very aggressive business opportunity, a biz op company. They sold 15 franchises a month. That's what they were doing. They were selling 15 franchises a month at 40K a pop. So they were doing around $600,000 a month, which is pretty aggressive and pretty good in terms of what they were doing and what they were selling. And I would get a monthly royalty check from them every month for 60K just for providing them with all my JV materials, my manuals, and being available for monthly support to their franchisees. So I had a 12-month agreement with them, 12-month contract, because I only wanted to provide them with my training for 12 months over a 12-month period. I said, look, I'll give it a trial run and see how it goes. And it went really well. And in that 12-month licensing period, I made 720K just by giving them access, to their access to my JV manuals. Mark's asking, how do you track their sales so you get your percentage? Mark, in my agreement, I always ask to access their accounting records and access any e-commerce systems that they have. So they're pretty much transparent. They were pretty good with me. They would give me send me regular sales records, and I had the rights to inspect their sales records too. So, but I mean, 60K a month, for just a couple of manuals, and me being available to them on a month-by-month basis was a pretty good deal. So that's another example of what you can do basically with your content. So let me just grab a glass of water. So recently I was approached by Action Coach, which is the world's largest business coaching franchise, and Brad Sugars actually is a good friend of mine. And there was a proposal for me to license my content to all their coaches around the world, so they can also implement and go out and do and broker JV. So that could be pretty huge, and that's something that's still in talks at the moment. But that's the potential in terms of what you do. You can approach even large organizations to license your content, license your training, and it's pretty it's pretty good. If you have that sort of content, if you have any sort of content that you're putting out there with clients, you have any sort of expertise, it can be licensed, and you can really monetize that as well. Okay, so what difference do you think licensing would make for you? Give me a description in the chat box. How do you think, from looking at this so far, what sort of difference do you think licensing would make for you, or make for your business? Do you think licensing would make a big difference for you? Give me a yes or no in the chat box. And have you considered licensing before? Okay, Sean says yes. Adam says, yes, I have considered licensing before and it'd be something I'd love to do. Tony says, leveraging my time better. And that's spot on, Tony. Eric says, the potential is huge, but will it take time and effort to put together a program? I'm going to take you through that, Eric. Mark says, seems like an opportunity to approach experts to do the work for them and get a cut of the deal. Mark, exactly. That's brokering. And that's what I've done in the past as well. Shell says, have considered, but haven't found the right product or buyers. Well, this is it. This is what you need to know in terms of what's in the marketplace. And, you need someone to really, really help you. Um, okay, brilliant. Good stuff. Excellent. Okay, good. So let's look at the 5 steps to creating a successful licensing program. So I'm going to take you through the 5 steps you need to know to create a successful licensing program. So first of all, step one, you really need to understand licensing. What is it that you're looking to license? Is it your expertise or is it your content? Okay, two totally different things. Expertise is what I do when I go out and license my expertise to either organizations, for example, or individuals for them to become brokers or consultants. Content is something where I'd approach a corporate company and say, hey, I've got this content here. You can amalgamate it into your existing program or your existing offering, and I'll give you a licensing agreement for that, and I'll just pick up a royalty for each person that uses that content. Okay. Productize. You've got to look at how you can productize your existing material and your existing content. See, a lot of people out there are teaching the high ticket stuff, right? Go out and sell high ticket programs. But what if you could sell and create a high ticket program, but also license that as well? Because what will happen is you'll be getting a recurring licensing fee every year, okay, for people to use your content or use your programs. So licensing is pretty powerful. And you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you're just creating high ticket coaching programs and you're not adding licensing into it also, right? Um, certified training for licensees. How do you make sure licensees are going through a training program to be certified to make sure that they follow and adopt the same systems and methodology and same company ethics as you do, okay? And that includes branding. Are they following the same branding? Are you giving them branding? Are you giving them your own brand to go out because it's a strong brand? Like I do, I say people are part of my team, so people know me as a joint venture expert. So my team use that when they go out to meetings. Or white label. Are you saying, look, you can use your own name, you don't have to use my name, but you can use my system, okay? And then obviously, how would your licensed business in a box look? So that's what you need to understand with licensing. And licensing your expertise, you've got to ask these questions. First of all, have you developed your own system, right, or methodology that you think other people can go and replicate and use out there, right, under your guidance? Also, what problems do other people have in your field that you may have the answer to? Do you have the answer to those sort of questions? And are other people looking for those answers? And can you recruit other people or replicate yourself to go out and do that in the marketplace? Another question you should ask is, what one simple thing can you identify that has the most widest appeal or benefit to others? Because sometimes this is a really simple things. Okay, like for example, I could create a marketing program that does everything. That says, okay, I can make you into a joint venture broker, a marketing consultant, a blah, blah, blah. But I don't do that. I focus specifically on strategic partnering and joint ventures, whether it's joint venture consulting or joint venture brokering. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. That's what's made me an expert in the marketplace, being able to command 50K a day for consulting. And and that's what I do for my licensees. I give them everything that they need to be able to go out and replicate that so they can do the same thing. Okay? Also, would people pay for it? If you were to license your expertise and create a program, would people pay for it? Okay, and it's pretty phenomenal. The amount that you can leverage by creating a license program is pretty phenomenal. Okay, and I haven't really shared this before because it's something that I've been doing for years, and it's I'm not saying I want to keep it away from people, but I think more and more people need to do this and leverage what they have. Okay. Step 3, productize your expertise. Can your system methodology be taught to others, right? That's one of the most important things. And also, can you create different product levels, different service levels? I mean, I have like a home study program, which is $5,000. I have a 3-day program, which is $10,000. I have a 2-day boot camp, which is $7,000. Now, different product levels, is that something that you can create with just one content? Now, let me tell you, you'd be surprised. Many years ago, I wrote a manual, okay, which became a book, which became a training program, which became a home study program. Everything stemmed from one 80-page manual. That's where it all started. So I had the content, I owned the IP, I owned the rights, it was mine. But from that, I've created this big, massive sort of empire, this 7-figure empire based on just one manual, okay? And it's all about joint ventures because of what I'm doing and because of how I'm leveraging it, okay, through licensing. Also, can you package your process? The process that you have, that you provide, that works, can it be packaged? And do you already have content that can be packaged? Do you already have content sitting there that can be packaged into something that could be an added value that you can create for other people? Also, what kind of licensing do you need to implement? Do you want to license your expertise and your content to companies, to professionals, or to the public? Now, these all require different types of licensing, so you need to also understand how this licensing model works, or how the model that you have will work for different areas, or what your specific target market is. And step 5, charging your fee. Okay, one of the things you can do is you can research the existing marketplace and say, okay, this is what they're charging, this is what he's charging, he's an expert like me in the same marketplace, this is where I need to be. You can also calculate your current fee and multiply that and come up with a solution and say, okay, this is what I'm currently charging. If I can get other licensees to charge the same, if they give me 20% of that, all I need is 10 licensees, and hey, yippee, I don't have to work for the rest of my life. Well, you do have to work because you've got to manage your licensees, you've got to train them regularly. However, you don't have to do the hours anymore. Your licensees go out there and do the hours, and you get a percentage for each one. Okay, so that's the power of licensing. It's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal model that allows you literally to stop trading time for money. Also, the time spent required to create the package, and that doesn't take too long. You need to look at the time you spent, and you can calculate from that and say, okay, this is the time I spent to create the package. This is what I need to charge for it to get that ROI on what I spent initially, and then I can make money after that. There's different sorts of models for how you charge your fees for licensing. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's how you could have your first licensing program up and running in as little as 5 weeks, okay, and stop trading your time for money. So I just want to get the opportunity to share with you something that I'm planning on running, and it's called my licensing masterclass. Now, we touched upon different aspects of licensing, and there are a lot of questions still to be answered, and I will take a Q&A at the end of this, but the licensing masterclass is what you need if you're looking really to productize and license your expertise and your content, and you want someone like myself to help you do that. So here's what you will learn. You learn about the big benefits of creating licensed products, how to identify what expertise to turn into a product. You'll understand the different forms of licensing. We'll cover how to productize your expertise. Also, how to set up legal licensing agreements anywhere internationally, whether it's UK, US, anywhere. We'll also discuss how to create a certified program for licensees, how to manage branding and white labeling, what to charge for your licensed product, and obviously how to support your licensees. And finally, how to sell your licensed products. Okay, I'll show you how we do it, and I'll show you how other people in my industry do it, and we'll help you by the end of the 5 weeks have created your own licensed product. Now, this program involves 5 weekly online training sessions starting on Wednesday, the 3rd of February 2016. Week 1, we're going to cover introduction to licensing. Week 2, we're going to cover pricing and productizing your expertise. Week 3, we're going to cover branding and white label licensing. Week 4, we're going to cover agreements, how to train your licensees and how to support your licensees, whether they're in any locations. And then week 5, I'm going to bring on board my licensing go-to expert, and we're going to have a Q&A session. He's going to answer all your legal questions and also questions on how to go about completing the licensing. And he's the guy I use. He's my licensing go-to expert, who I always turn to help me with any aspects of licensing. And I'm going to give you access to him also to help you create your first licensed training program or licensed product or licensed content. Also, each week we're going to have homework assignments, okay? So it's not just going to be you listening to me taking you through training. You're also going to be actively doing things every week to make sure that by the end of week 5, we get you up and running with your own licensed program, licensed product, or whatever it is you want to get out using licensing. So what's the investment? So here's the thing, remember, most of my programs are very high-end, okay? But sometimes I do programs online just to help people because I want to really put it out there and make sure that people replicate what I do. And sometimes it's not all about the money, okay? So I will be officially launching my licensing masterclass program in late 2016, right? So when I do launch the licensing masterclass, the official price for that would be $1,697, okay? However, today only, because this is what I would class as my beta program, you pay just $697, okay? Instead of $1,697. So you're saving $1,000 and paying $697, which is probably one of the cheapest programs that I've ever done. But it's there to serve its purpose and to make sure that people actually get into licensing, because this is one of the components where I've made a heck of a lot of money doing licensing. I've only got 10 spots available because I can only work one-to-one with 10 people. This is not going to be a big program. It's only 10 people that I can work one-to-one with. And my licensing guy, to be honest with you, he is very precious to me, so I don't want to share him with too many people, okay? But wait, there's more, okay? If you pay the full price of $697 today, you also get a 1-hour quick start coaching session with myself and my licensing expert. Okay, so you get 2 of us giving you a quick start coaching session to get you started. And you also get unlimited support to help you launch through our licensing forum. We have a licensing forum already set up that is active. You get access to that, and in that you get unlimited support. Okay, so you never be left on your own. And we'll make sure that we're there with you step by step all the way until you get the result you want from the program, okay? Or you can pay via 3 monthly payments of $247, but you won't get those bonuses above, okay? So $697 full price, and you get those bonuses. Or if you want to pay installments, you're welcome to do that. 3 monthly payments of $247, but you don't get the bonuses. Now, if you're interested in the program, like I say, I've got 10 spots, and they will go very, very quickly because the program starts on the 3rd of February on a Wednesday, which is in about a week's time, a week and a half, 2 weeks' time. Go to www.sahel-khan.com/masterclass. Okay, so that's www.sahel-khan.com/masterclass if you want access to that program. You can go to that page, pay full price, or you can click on the installment link and you can pay via installments, and you will get those bonuses if you pay full price. Okay, so let's have some questions. If anyone's got any questions for me, let's have a look. Just keep the questions coming in, guys, and I'll answer your questions because this is what I'm really here for. And like I said, your questions, if you want to, you can ask me any other questions you want, even on whether it's to do with JVs or whether it's to do with licensing. So let's have a look. Questions. Okay, Tony says, are services better than products? Um, Sometimes they are. You know, services are sometimes easier to license, but then again, you do need a product as well because people would like to see something physical. So although you will have a service that you'll license, being either your training program, you will need to have a product to go alongside that to provide to your licensees that they can take with them, for example, like manuals, for example. Okay, Mark says, do you ever do a perpetual license deal or are they usually annual license fee? Usually, Mark is an annual license fee because what you've got to do is you've got to put yourself in other people's shoes. If you're charging someone $10,000 a year for a license plus a royalty, which means that every time they go out and apply your training or they go out and apply your methodology, they have to give you a kickback. Okay, you've got to understand if you put yourself in their shoes, is you know, is that something that you'd be happy with? Okay, so for example, with my setup, it's a training fee, but then I make my money from the from licensing my deals basically. So I get a royalty, a 50% cut on any deals that my brokers go out there and complete. Pretty much like if they used my methodology to train a company, they would have to give me a percentage of that because they use my methodology or they use my training and they have a license to do that. So that's how it would work. Okay, guys, any more questions for me? If you want to put them in the chat box. Mark's also mentioned once the year is up, do they have to renew or do they own the material? In most cases, if it's an annual license fee, then they may own the material, but they can't go out and practice under your brand, for example, or using your material because they have to pay an ongoing yearly licensing fee. Yeah, guys, there's still quite a lot of you still on the webinar. Any more questions for me? If you want to put them into the chat box. Okay, Adam says, your licensing masterclass, will that help me create a licensed program from what I already have existing that I teach myself? Yeah, Adam, it does. That will take you step by step through all the components you need to be able to figure out, first of all, how to productize what you already have and how to use the existing content that you already have to go out there and sell that to licensees. Okay, the proposition to licensees and how to do that also. So yeah, the program will cover that. Plus, I've got my licensing go-to guy who does this for a living, and he'll be available as well to help you and support you through that launch also. Okay, hope that answers your question. Any more questions, guys, before we wrap up? I'll make myself a nice hot honey and lemon for my throat. Okay, guys, if that's it, then look, fantastic. Thank you for coming on to today's training. I really appreciate that. I think we've got another question. Let's have a look. Yeah, the bonus will come via email. We've got a list of everyone's emails. So for those of you who are after just the bonuses, you are welcome to leave. And I see most of you are still here, so that's good news. Eric says, can you be a licensee and then license this again to others? If you have an agreement, Eric, as like a reseller, then yes, you can do that. If you have a another agreement that allows you as a licensee to relicense that program, then yes, you can. It's basically a resale license that you'd be looking at. Thanks, Shell. Thank you for that. Tony, books on licensing. There's not many books on licensing, to be honest with you, out there. Maybe I need to write one on licensing, but no, not many books on licensing that I can really recommend that I can think of on the top of my head. Um, that's it. I think we're done. Guys, again, thank you very much. I really appreciate doing these trainings, and thank you for attending. Again, if you're interested in the program, it's www.sahel-khan.com/masterclass. And if you go there, you can opt to pay one pay or in 3 installments. Thank you very much, guys. And I will see you guys on the next train. Oh, thanks, Andy. Yeah, I know you are not very well recently yourself, and yeah, it's all the traveling and the I guess the air con in the hotels and in the planes. But yeah, I'll be feeling much better soon. I've got loads of things happening this year to share with all of you. But yeah, I hope to see you guys on the masterclass, and thank you very much once again. Have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you. Bye bye.